fitness, adventure and travel, fashion, beauty, entertainment, and more. Welcome to the Aiden Max Show.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Aiden Max Show. I'm looking forward to the spring already because I just can't wait to ride on my motorcycle again and feel that feeling of the wind blowing through my hair. As I'm driving around, I see all the flowers blooming, trees and their leaves coming back, and so much green all around. It's beautiful watching animals run around again, seeing love in the air, families together, and cute little fur babies being born into the world again. There's something special in the air during the springtime. It's the time for romance. People are out and about mingling. There's some kind of spell or something that makes people fall head over heels for one another, which makes it the perfect time to talk about things that hurt relationships. For some people, it's love at first sight. Everything is perfect in the beginning, nothing's wrong in the relationship, a perfect match. Both agree on everything and there are no arguments. It's going great and on the right track. That kind of love is the first stage of love. Love is in the air, but they haven't really assessed the relationship because both are high on love. Some start to think about the possibilities that could hurt their relationships and how to prevent that from happening.
So, I did some research and I was intrigued with what I found, and I think you'll be too. So now, let's dive into what can hurt a relationship. Being defensive. Partners become defensive. Couples feel like their message isn't getting across to their partners. That's one way of hurting a relationship. Being contempt is another way to hurt a relationship. It starts with eye rolling, making light of a situation by taunting, laughing, and making fun of or teasing your partner, falling asleep in the middle of a conversation, throwing things in people's faces to make them feel crappy, gaslighting by changing people's words and thoughts to make them think that they're doing something wrong when they're not. The list goes on of the different acts of contempt that people use to make their partners feel powerless. For instance, name calling, like, get out, you no good, you're a pig, you're fat, you're ugly. All the names in the book make us feel terrible about ourselves. That will definitely hurt a relationship.
Lack of sex. In the beginning, there was so much romance and intimacy, but then the fire went out and people don't click. They feel like something is missing. Now it's time for change. Maybe your sex drive has decreased. Maybe you have more of a sex drive than you had before. Who knows? Not being a flexible partner, unrealistic expectations, and unwillingness to adapt can hurt a relationship. Not communicating your goals to one another and working things out together. Instead, it's my way or the highway. People lack the willingness to change, to make it work. So many limitations and unrealistic expectations that can't ever be met, which makes people feel like they're failing at their relationships, and we end up not feeling good about ourselves. That's why many relationships crumble to an end. Some feel like they're lacking in individual growth and having the space they need so desperately. They feel like Sometimes their partners are invading their space. People need time for themselves also. We can't get to know ourselves better if we have people on our case demanding to always bring them wherever we go. Some feel like they're missing as an individual. Where's that me time for me to grow as a person? Many feel like they don't know who they are anymore. Sometimes couples get so wrapped up in their partner's lives that they forget their own life and lose themselves in their relationship.
Of course, lack of communication ruins a relationship. Miscommunication, vague messages, lying, micromanaging, every day it's a different story, and defensiveness are all examples of lack of communication. It's not effective. Couples need to hear each other out and have mutual respect for each other. Sometimes even agree to disagree. Try to see each other's perspective. Sadly, most people don't even bother to communicate, which results in their partners not feeling good about the relationship. Having a controlling partner who wants you to always agree with them and only do things that they want to do, you can't venture out and do your own thing. You must do what they want at all times. If they can't go, that means you can't go. Some people get trapped in these kinds of relationships. It's important to give your partner that time despite you not being able to. Then they can come back and fill you in on how great of a time they had. They'll actually have news to share as opposed to doing the same old thing.
Which goes back to the loss of sex, doing the same thing over and over again. Unwillingness to venture out and try new things. If you want to have a long and happy relationship, you gotta spice things up. Have that conversation of what you're willing and not willing to try, which will better prepare your relationship for the future to maintain a healthy one. Since the beginning of time, one issue that happens all too often, even mental health professionals chime in, and the foundation of a healthy relationship, it tends to be trust. Only trust can prevent all the ways I've mentioned already. The defensive partner, the lack of sex, lack of the individual growth, no communication, and unrealistic expectations. All of these stem from not having trust. When there's no trust in the relationship, you can expect these negative behaviors to intrude and ruin the relationship. Having that trust, you're always reassured that no matter what comes up, you both can get through it together. This helps commitments last longer and there's less suspicion, less fighting, and more of the good stuff. Trust is key and foundation for a healthy relationship.
Once you notice anything negative coming up in the relationship, it always comes back to having no trust. The second you have those feelings, talk about them. Those discussions are crucial for having a healthy relationship. Two-way communication, despite not agreeing or not being able to see it their way, despite it all, you still deserve to be respected. Listen to each other and validate each other's feelings. You may not understand what they're feeling, but validate that feeling anyway. Relationships take a lot of hard work. Successes, goals, stress, pain, disappointments, anger, and being comfortable with each other. Be equals. Always be fair. Trust each other, and your relationship will last. You know, monogamy is not easy. It's hard to do. There's a lot of temptation out there. There are a lot of choices. There's a lot of apps. Technology makes it so easy to access our temptations. But it's not natural, like going into your car and going to work isn't natural. But still, we get into our cars and go to work. It's the same with commitments and relationships. If you really want this person, You want it to work? You'll find a way to make that commitment last. Monogamy is possible, but make sure you think twice because it can be challenging. It's something to discuss. Remember, anything negative that comes in the way, that drains us emotionally, it always comes down to not having that trust.
I hope this helps you all look and understand relationships better. And also keep an eye out for red flags. Sometimes we fall so hard and so fast, but we have to pay attention to make sure we aren't impacted negatively and allow things to creep into the relationship, which causes you to be stuck in a bad one. To prevent that, avoid it. One more thing about avoiding, people who tend to avoid conflicts and don't talk about them is a bad sign for the relationship. It's important to get through the conflicts and have those discussions and hear each other out. Like the famous Robert Frost once said, "The best way out is always through." I second that. Thanks, Dominic and Casey, for your great voiceover. Thank you. Make sure you share, comment, and subscribe to my show. Bye, everyone.